When a man falls deeply in love, something happens inside him that is not easy to explain in normal words. His thoughts, his feelings, his emotions, his fantasies all begin to move in directions that even he sometimes cannot understand. The male mind, when touched by real love, creates a secret world of desires and hidden images, a place where he shapes and reshapes scenarios of closeness, strength, protection, passion, and surrender. Some of these fantasies are soft and gentle, others are intense and filled with power. And every single one of them comes from the deep need to connect, to feel, and to express love in a way that words alone can never capture. When a man truly loves, his heart is not only tied to what he says or what he does in daily life. His heart also starts dreaming in ways that no one sees. These dreams are not always about physical closeness, they are about something more. The need to merge, to protect, to be wanted, to be seen as both strong and soft at the same time. Every man has different dreams, but there are some fantasies that almost every man who is truly in love carries secretly within him. Fantasies that reveal how much he wants to give, how much he wants to receive, and how much he wants to lose himself in the woman he loves. The first kind of fantasy that often lives in a man's heart is the desire to be the protector. This is not about simple safety or just keeping someone away from harm. It is deeper. It is the dream of being the wall between her and the world. A man in love imagines moments where danger comes or life throws challenges, and he is the one standing tall, fighting for her, shielding her, even if he has to sacrifice himself. He imagines himself holding her close when she is afraid, covering her when she feels weak, and being her strength when she feels she cannot go on. It is not because he sees her as helpless, but because his love makes him want to carry the weight of the world for her. This fantasy gives him power, but at the same time, it makes him soft, because protecting her is not about control, it is about devotion. The second type of fantasy that comes into a man's mind when he is deeply in love is the fantasy of dominance. Now, this word often gets misunderstood. It is not about control in a cold or cruel way. It is about the longing to lead, to guide, to take charge in moments of passion, where his strength becomes the place where she can let go. He imagines her surrendering not out of weakness, but because she trusts him so deeply that she can close her eyes and know he will never hurt her. He dreams of holding her body with firmness, of commanding the space between them, of creating a storm of passion where she feels overwhelmed by how much he wants her. For him, this dominance is not about pride. It is about giving her the safety to be free. It is the picture of a man saying without words, "I will take you to places you never thought you could go, and I will hold you the whole way through." The third fantasy is the opposite side of this power, the fantasy of worship. Men in love do not always want to dominate. Sometimes their deepest fantasy is to kneel, to bow, to place her above themselves like a goddess. He imagines kissing her hands, her feet, her skin, as if each part of her is sacred. He dreams of lying beneath her, looking up, and seeing her beauty shining like a light that cannot be touched. He wants to lose himself in the act of giving her every ounce of pleasure, of listening to her every breath, of making her feel like the most desired being in the world. In these moments, he is not the warrior, not the leader. He is the servant of love, and he feels joy in worshipping her body, her soul, her presence. For him, this fantasy is not humiliation, it is freedom, because in serving her, he feels alive. There is also the fantasy of being claimed in public. This is not always about open displays, but about the subtle, powerful marks of ownership that only lovers understand. A man in love dreams of walking beside her while others look, and he knows by her eyes, her touch, her smile, that she has chosen him and only him. He imagines her placing her hand on him in front of others, whispering something only he can hear, or kissing him suddenly, showing the world that he belongs to her. These fantasies are not only about pride, they are about the deep male need to feel wanted, to be shown as hers, to know that in a world full of people, she marks him as her man. For him, that is a silent but powerful victory. And then comes the final fantasy, the one that many men keep hidden even from themselves, the fantasy of complete surrender. We often think of men as always wanting control, always wanting to lead, but the truth is, when a man is truly in love, sometimes he dreams of giving it all away. He imagines her holding him, not as a strong man, but as someone who can finally be soft, finally cry, finally be vulnerable. He fantasizes about placing his whole heart in her hands, about being taken by her passion, about letting her guide the rhythm, the pace, the direction of their love. In these hidden dreams, he does not have to fight, he does not have to protect, he does not have to lead. He only has to trust. And this surrender is the deepest kind of intimacy, because for a man to give up control to the woman he loves is to say, "I am yours completely, and I will not hold anything back." These fantasies, protection, dominance, worship, public claiming, and surrender, may look different on the outside, but inside, they are all about the same thing: love. Real, raw, vulnerable love. They show us that men, when touched by true love, are not as simple as they sometimes appear. Their minds are filled with layers, with dreams, with hidden stories that speak louder than words ever can. And the truth is, these fantasies are not something a man chooses. They rise naturally, shaped by his heart, by his experiences, by his need to connect with the woman who has captured him. They are the secret language of love inside him. Sometimes he will act them out, sometimes he will only keep them inside, but they are always there, whispering to him, shaping the way he loves, the way he touches, the way he looks at her. So when a man is in love, remember that he is not only giving you his time, his care, or his promises. He is also giving you a secret world of fantasies, a place where he has made you his queen, his passion, his shelter, his storm, and his surrender. To be in that world is to hold the most hidden, most sacred parts of his soul, and that, perhaps, is the deepest gift a man can ever give. When you look into the heart of a man who is deeply in love, you will see that these fantasies are not random. They are born from his nature, from the way he sees the woman who has captured him. For him, love is not only about words or actions. It is about pictures in his mind, feelings in his body, and whispers in his soul. Every fantasy he carries is a mirror of his deepest emotions, and when he feels safe enough, some of these hidden desires come alive. Think about the fantasy of protection once more. For a man, this is not just about being strong in the physical sense. It is about being her safe space, her home, her shield against the storms of life. He dreams of moments where she breaks down in tears, and he is there, wrapping his arms around her, telling her that she does not need to face it alone. He imagines the sound of her voice calling his name when she is in fear, and he arrives like a force of nature to stand by her side. This fantasy is not just about danger. It is about being her anchor in the emotional chaos of life. In his mind, he is not only her protector, he is her comfort, her rock, her silent warrior. The fantasy of dominance also grows deeper than just physical passion. In his secret dreams, this dominance shows up in the way he guides her with confidence, the way he takes her hand when she feels lost, the way he pulls her close when she feels unsure. His fantasy is not only about being strong in intimacy, but also about being her steady ground in daily life. He wants her to trust his leak, not because she is weak, but because she feels safe to let go. He dreams of her closing her eyes and leaning into his power, not as someone being controlled, but as someone being carried. This kind of fantasy feeds his pride, but more than that, it feeds his purpose. Because deep down, every man longs to feel that his strength has meaning, and in love, that meaning is her. And then comes the dream of worship, which touches something very spiritual inside him. A man who is truly in love does not only want to be her leader, he also wants to fall at her feet in moments of surrender. He imagines her as the most beautiful being in existence, someone so rare that even the smallest gesture from her feels like a blessing. In his private world, he sees himself placing her above everything, showing her with his touch, his kisses, and his devotion that she is the center of his universe. This fantasy is not weakness, it is reverence. It is his way of saying, "You are more than a lover to me, you are the one I honor." And in this honoring, he feels complete. Public claiming also takes many shapes in his imagination. Sometimes it is bold, like kissing her in front of everyone, making it clear that she belongs to him and he belongs to her. Other times it is subtle, like the way she looks at him in a crowded room, giving him a glance that says without words, "You are my only one." These small signs carry great weight in his mind. They remind him that he is chosen, that she is proud to stand by him, that her love is not hidden but alive for the world to see. And inside, he dreams of more moments like that, moments where the world becomes quiet, and the only thing that matters is that she has marked him as hers. The final fantasy, surrender, is the one most men struggle to admit even to themselves. Society often teaches men to always be strong, to never break, to never show weakness. But in love, the heart tells a different story. A man dreams of being held by the woman he loves in a way that no one else will ever see. He imagines letting down every guard, placing every piece of his soul in her hands, and saying, "Here I am, without armor, without walls, only me." This surrender is not about losing his strength, it is about finally being free. Free to cry, free to be soft, free to feel that even his most fragile side is safe with her. For him, this fantasy is the most dangerous and the most beautiful because it asks him to risk everything. Yet, when he finds a woman he can truly trust, he discovers that surrender is not weakness. It is love in its purest form. If you look closer, you will see how all these fantasies connect. Protection shows his need to give, dominance shows his need to lead, worship shows his need to honor, public claiming shows his need to be wanted, and surrender shows his need to be fully accepted. Together, they form the hidden map of a man's love, a map that few ever get to see. And when a woman becomes the center of these fantasies, she is not only his partner, she is his dream, his desire, his secret world. Many men will never speak about these dreams. They may act tough, they may laugh it off, they may hide it behind silence. But if you could step into their hearts, you would see that love for them is not plain or simple. It is full of colors, shadows, fears, and longings. They carry these fantasies like treasures, waiting for the right moment, the right person, the right trust to bring them to life. And here lies the truth: when a man truly loves, he does not only give you his body or his words, he gives you his hidden self, the parts no one else knows. He gives you his unspoken dreams, his secret visions, his deepest desires. To be in his fantasies is to be written into the most private book of his soul. And that is why, when love is real, when it is deep, when it is alive, his fantasies are not just desires. They are confessions of his heart, spoken without language, told without sound. But more powerful than anything he could ever say aloud, what makes these fantasies powerful is not just that they exist, but that they live in silence. Men rarely speak them, not because they are ashamed, but because they do not know if the world will understand. To confess them is to risk being misunderstood, to risk being seen as weak, too much, or even strange. So, many men lock these images inside, carrying them as private treasures that only appear in the quiet moments, in the middle of the night, or in the pauses of thought when the mind wanders. A man might be sitting at work, or walking down a street, or lying in bed unable to sleep, and suddenly a scene will come alive in his imagination. He will picture himself wrapping his jacket around her shoulders when she is cold. He will imagine lifting her in his arms when she is too tired to walk. He will dream of whispering in her ear words that only she will ever hear. These small daydreams are not just escapes. They are messages of his heart, showing him what he most longs to give. At times, his fantasies are fiery, filled with passion, with strength, with the raw hunger of desire. At other times, they are soft, delicate, almost fragile, as if his love could break if he touched it too roughly. Both sides live in him, and both are real. The warrior and the worshipper, the leader and the follower, the protector and the one who needs protection. These opposites create the depth of his love, because real love is never one-sided. It is fire and water, storm and silence, control and release. When a woman becomes the center of these fantasies, she becomes more than just a partner in his eyes. She becomes his reason for dreaming, the star that lights his inner world. Even if she never knows every detail of what he imagines, she feels it in the way he looks at her, the way he touches her, the way he holds her hand a little too tightly as if saying, "I cannot let you go." His fantasies shape his actions, even in small ways, because what lives in the mind always finds a way to move into the body. And there is another layer to these hidden dreams: a man's need for memory. Many of his fantasies are not only about the present, but about the future. He imagines not just what he wants to do with her today, but what he wants to remember years from now. He dreams of the day he will look back and see her standing by him, the way her hair fell in the light, the way her laugh sounded when he whispered something only meant for her. For him, fantasies are not only about the now, they are about building moments that will echo through time. This is why men often fantasize about the dramatic gesture, the act that will never be forgotten. It could be fighting for her, protecting her in danger, standing up for her in front of others, or making a promise so bold that it changes the course of their story. These dreams live inside him because love, when it is true, makes him want to create a legacy in her heart. He wants her to remember him not only as someone who was there, but as someone who was unforgettable. And yet, at the same time, his fantasies can be as simple as lying beside her, holding her close, listening to her breathe. In his mind, these quiet moments are just as powerful as the storms, because what he truly seeks is not only excitement, it is presence. To feel her near, to know she is his, to know he is hers. This closeness is the thread that connects every fantasy, whether it is filled with fire or with silence. If you look deeper, you will see that all of a man's secret fantasies have one core: the longing to merge his strength with her softness, to merge his fire with her calm, to merge his silence with her voice, to merge his body with her body, his soul with her soul. His fantasies are his way of reaching for something greater than himself, something that makes him whole. And when he finds a woman who touches this part of him, his fantasies become not just dreams but truths. They guide how he loves, how he speaks, how he gives. They make him more tender, more passionate, more alive. Because love, when it awakens these hidden dreams, transforms a man into something beyond himself. Many people look at men and think they are simple in love. But the truth is, the inner world of a man in love is not simple at all. It is a storm of needs, desires, fears, and longings. He fears losing her, and so he dreams of protecting her. He fears being unseen, and so he dreams of being claimed. He fears not being enough, and so he dreams of worshipping her until she feels like the most desired woman in the world. His fantasies are answers to his fears, and his love is what makes them bloom. Sometimes these fantasies also carry shadows. The fear of betrayal, the fear of rejection, the fear of giving everything and being left with nothing. A man may imagine her walking away, choosing someone else, or forgetting him. These are painful images, yet they too are part of his inner world. Because love is never only light, it is also shadow, and his fantasies, both the beautiful and the fearful, show how deeply he feels. But the most important truth is this: when a man loves, his fantasies are not just about himself. They are about her, about what she needs, what she desires, what she dreams of. In his private world, he becomes her protector, her leader, her worshipper, her partner, her safe space. His love shapes every image, and in each one she is at the center. And maybe this is the secret of a man's heart, that his fantasies, though hidden, are really his love in disguise. That every dream, whether it is of power or of surrender, is only another way of saying, I need you. I want you. I love you.